The jump rope game has begun. Gi-hun manages to get Jun-hee's baby to the other side. Then all the players start to jump to the other side. Myung-gi wants to help Jun-hee, but Jun-hee tells him to go away, and she doesn't want him in her life. Meanwhile, the frontman and the VIPs are watching the game. As all the players made it to the other side, Gi-hun says to Jun-hee he'll come get her, but Jun-hee says to not come because time is running out. She tells Gi-hun to watch over her baby. Gi-hun and Jun-hee look at each other. Then Jun-hee is about to fall off the edge. Then the frontman looks to see Jun-hee is about to kill herself. He looks to see Gi-hun and sees the baby. Then the frontman looks at the VIPs, watching player 222 is about to end her life. The frontman looks at Jun-hee. Then a flashback appears. Hwan In-ho threatens a doctor, telling him there has to be another way. But the doctor says, "I'm sorry, it requires an amount of cash." In-ho gets angry and punches the doctor in the face. Then we cut to see In-ho with his wife on a hospital bed. He says to his wife he can't lose her and their baby. Then his wife says to In-ho, "In-ho, I want you to promise me, if me and our baby go to a better place, I want you to still be a good man and never look the other way. Even if you can't afford this, I still want you to be that good person you are. Don't let anything or anyone tell you not to, because you were a good person saving lives when you were a police officer. If you can't save me and the baby, you can save another life. Don't look back and turn the other way. You're still a good man with a good heart. I believe in you, In-ho. Please, be a good man." In-ho looks at his wife and nods his head as they both cry and hug. Then the flashback ends. In-ho has been watching players die with his own eyes, and he's about to see Jun-hee die. He starts thinking to himself, should he watch Jun-hee die, or should he listen to his wife's words and save Jun-hee's life? In-ho has been helping Jun-hee. He helped Jun-hee, Gi-hun, and his friends not only playing the games, but surviving it and sticking together. Jun-hee just became a mother, and she's about to give up her own life. Then the frontman says in his Korean accent, "The VIP woman says, "Did you say something?" The frontman ignores the VIP woman. He gets up and runs up the steps. The VIPs ask, where's he going? But he doesn't answer them as he runs out the door. The frontman runs through the hallway. He runs towards a door and enters into the jump rope game. The pink guards see the frontman. They ask why he's here. The frontman ignores them. He sees Jun-hee. As Jun-hee is about to fall off the edge, the frontman grabs her hand. Jun-hee looks to see the frontman. He pulls her to safety. He says to Jun-hee, "Hamshune gumgo." The frontman looks to see Gi-hun. Gi-hun is shocked that the frontman has saved her. The players see the frontman, but they don't know who this guy is. The VIPs are shocked too. One of them said, "Why would he do that?" The jump rope game has ended. Then the frontman carries Jun-hee. Gi-hun hears the baby crying as he holds the baby. As the frontman carries Jun-hee, he threatens a pink guard by saying, "Don't ever pull a gun at player 222 and her baby ever again, or I'll kill you." The pink guard looks at the frontman and says, "Yes, sir." As the frontman carries Jun-hee, Gi-hun yells out to the frontman, saying, "Where are you taking her?" The frontman looks back to look at Gi-hun, holding the baby, but he doesn't respond back to Gi-hun. Instead, he walks towards the door, while still carrying Jun-hee. As they walk out, Jun-hee says to the frontman, "You're the man with the black mask. Why did you save me for?" The frontman says to Jun-hee, "I couldn't let you die like this. I couldn't let a baby lose her mother. I couldn't let you die, Kim Jun-hee." Jun-hee says, "You know my name? I know everything about you. I'll take you back to the dorm, and you'll be with your baby." While the frontman carries her and walks to the dorm, Jun-hee says to the frontman, "Thank you." Then the frontman says to Jun-hee, "You're welcome." The players return to the dorm. The frontman walks in carrying Jun-hee. He walks to the X side and puts Jun-hee on her bed. Gi-hun is relieved that Jun-hee is still alive. He gives Jun-hee her baby as they're both reunited. Then the frontman decides to make an announcement. He says to all the players that player 222 has been given another chance, and it would have been fair to waste a player that didn't play in the 5th game. The old players do not agree with this. They all yell and argue, saying that player 222 should be dead. The old players walk to Jun-hee's bed. They say she must die and her baby. Gi-hun protects Jun-hee and her baby, ready to fight off the old players. That is until the frontman beats all the old players down. He points a gun at the old players. He says to them that he made that rule, and he gave player 222 a chance to play in the final game, no exceptions. The old players go back to their beds. The frontman tells a pink guard to give the players their suits and get them ready for the final game tomorrow. The frontman leaves and heads back to the room where the VIPs are at. The VIPs are not impressed with what the frontman did for player 222. The frontman explains to the VIPs that player 222 has been given a chance to play in the final game. All the VIPs call it bullshit, and the reason why he saved her was because he cared and had a heart, and they say she should have died in the jump rope game. The frontman pulls a gun at the VIPs. He says if one of the VIPs tries to kill player 222 and her baby, he'll kill the VIPs himself, and they won't get their money, and they'll have to wait tomorrow. He walks out the room. However, the VIPs are not going to agree with the frontman. He's protecting player 222 and her baby, but they're not going to let that happen again. They're going to make sure they both die. The frontman is no longer the villain. The VIPs are now the main villains. The scene of Nohyo and Gyeongshok stays the same, but they will stay on the island for a little while because they had to find the file room and delete all of Gyeongshok's files. I will have Woo-seok stay with Jun-ho and Team 1, which I'm going to call Team 1 the Resistance. Woo-seok will find the picture frame of Captain Park and the recruiter on the boat instead of Captain Park's home. Woo-seok is shocked to see the picture. He quickly finds Jun-ho and the Resistance. He shows them the picture. They capture Captain Park and tie him up to a chair. With the Resistance alive, Jun-ho demands Captain Park to tell him where the island is. Captain Park says he won't tell him where the island is at. Then Jun-ho thinks back on the map and the location. He takes control of the boat, and after a few minutes, the Resistance have managed to find the island. Captain Park unties himself and grabs a gun. He points it at his chin. He says one last thing to Jun-ho: "You'll never win." He shoots himself dead. Then they see Team 2's boat sailing in front of Team 1's boat. The Resistance see that Team 2 is dead. Then the second captain starts shooting. Kim managed to kill the second captain. Jun-ho and the Resistance get on the island. They find a door and break it down. As they all head inside, they kill a couple of pink guards. Then Jun-ho and the Resistance dress up to disguise themselves as pink guards. Then they run up to Noyo and Youngshock. After a bit of conversation and convincing, they decide to team up together to take down the games and the island. We go back to the dorm. Gi-hun asks Jun-hee why did the frontman save her. Jun-hee says the frontman couldn't let me die and couldn't let my baby lose me. She asks Gi-hun if there is good in the frontman. Gi-hun says he doesn't know. He killed Jun-bae in front of him, but then he saved Jun-hee. Gi-hun thinks to himself, what if there is something good in the frontman? What if he's not a bad person? I will leave every single scene all the same, just with Jun-hee alive. Everything stays about the same. The resistance are in the file room. Woo-seok takes hundreds of pictures, and Noyo finds Youngshook's files and deletes them all. In the frontman's room, he gets a knock on his door. The masked officer wants to talk to the frontman alone. The frontman lets the masked officer in. He asks what's wrong. Then the masked officer attacks the frontman. The two fight each other. Then the officer beats the frontman. The officer wants to know the real truth on why he saved player 222, and it wasn't that he gave her another chance. It was something else. The frontman says he won't tell him and to leave her and the baby alone. The officer knocks out the frontman cold. The players wake up and head to the final game. Gi-hun says to Jun-hee he'll hold the baby while they're playing the game. The old players say they'll kill Jun-hee and her baby. Gi-hun yells at the old players and says they won't get their hands on them, and he'll do whatever it takes to protect Jun-hee and her baby. I will have player 336 die, and Mitsu will live. Myung-hee tells the players he is the father of Jun-hee's baby. Gi-hun and Myung-hee fight the old players. Then player 100 tries to attack Jun-hee, but Mitsu snaps out of his illusion and uses his elbow to push player 100 to the ground. All the old players die. They move to the circle. Myung-hee picks up the pole and points it at Gi-hun and Jun-hee. Myung-hee says he wants Jun-hee and the baby to come to the circle, but not Gi-hun. Jun-hee says she doesn't want to. Myung-hee yells, saying, "Are you really gonna trust this guy over me? Come over here and bring the baby now." Jun-hee says to Gi-hun she doesn't want to, but Gi-hun says, "Go with him. Trust me, Jun-hee." Jun-hee and her baby head to the circle. As the bridge closes, Gi-hun jumps to the other side. Then he fights Myung-hee. Jun-hee tries to stop Myung-hee, but Myung-hee slaps Jun-hee. Mitsu tries to help out, but Myung-hee punches Mitsu in the face. Gi-hun gets angry and punches Myung-hee's face very hard. He yells, saying, "Don't ever hit her." Myung-hee grabs the baby and threatens to drop his daughter. He even yells at Jun-hee, saying, "This is how you repay me? I did everything for you, and you still won't trust me. I'll just drop her." Jun-hee cries and begs at Myung-hee not to. Gi-hun begs too, "Please, don't do it." Myung-hee starts to cry as he gently puts down the baby. Then Myung-hee fights Gi-hun again. Jun-hee sees the button. She's about to press the button until Myung-hee stops her. He shouts, saying if Jun-hee presses that button, one of them has to die. Jun-hee doesn't listen and presses the button. Myung-hee yells, "No!" Then him and Gi-hun fall off the edge. But the voice doesn't call out their numbers. We see Gi-hun and Myung-hee both holding on to the pipe. Myung-hee tries to push Gi-hun off so that he can climb back up. Gi-hun realizes this, and his only choice is to grab Myung-hee and force the two of them to fall. But that is until Jun-hee walks towards Gi-hun and Myung-hee. Myung-hee yells and begs at Jun-hee to help him, but Jun-hee uses her right foot to kick Myung-hee's face as he falls to his death. Jun-hee helps up Gi-hun. The only players left are Gi-hun, Jun-hee, the baby, and Mitsu. Gi-hun says to Jun-hee and Mitsu he'll be the one to make the sacrifice so that the three could leave this place for good. Jun-hee cries. She says to Gi-hun she doesn't want him to die like this. This is what those evil people want from us. They treat us like horses and take their money. Jun-hee is tired of this and wants to stop the game. Mitsu agrees with Jun-hee. Gi-hun puts his hand on Jun-hee's cheek. He tells Jun-hee and Mitsu he tried to do the same thing with his friend Sun-woo so that they will leave together, but his friend took his own life so that Gi-hun will leave. He still wishes he could have saved him and everyone else, and he wishes he could be with his daughter and make things right for her. He tells Jun-hee and Mitsu that everything will be okay and to take care of themselves. He says to Jun-hee to take care of her baby and she'll always be there for you too. As Gi-hun is about to make the sacrifice, the masked officer holds a gun and shoots the glass. They all look up to see glass breaking, and they see masked people along with the masked officer. Gi-hun realizes that these are the VIPs. The VIPs say this game's not over yet. The pink guards bring the players to the VIPs. The VIP woman says, "So, your son Gi-hun, the man who plays games before and came back to stop the games. What a hero." Gi-hun, speaking a little bit of English, says, "You're the VIPs, aren't you?" "That's right. We've been watching you guys playing the games. What do you want?" "We only came here to bet on you guys and take our money. But when the frontman saved player 222, or should I say Kim Jun-hee, is that your name, sweetie?" Jun-hee looks up, scared, as she holds her baby. "Like I was saying, the frontman saved her life. That was unnecessary for him. It made us mad seeing a man who watches players die and became a hero. That is not what we came here for. You were supposed to die, sweetie." The VIP woman points a gun at Jun-hee and her baby. "Who wants to save you?" Jun-hee gets scared as she covers her baby. Gi-hun yells at the VIP woman, "Leave them alone!" "Oh no, we're not going to leave them alone. We're going to play a game, but it's our game. And the only players left are Gi-hun, Jun-hee, the baby, and player 125. But let's bring in one more guest." The masked officer brings in the frontman as he gets on his knees. "This man broke the rule and wanted to play a hero, just like you, Gi-hun." The VIP takes off the frontman's mask, revealing Hwan In-ho. Jun-hee is shocked that the man who saved her was player 1. Even Mitsu recognizes player 1. "You only saved her because you had a heart, all because she had a baby, and you didn't want to see her die. We're very ashamed of you, frontman. You should listen to the rules and let her die." In-ho yells, saying, "I don't care about the rules. I saved Jun-hee because of my dead wife. She was going to become a mother too. When I came back, she was gone, with my unborn child. I didn't want to see that happen ever again. I've watched many players die with my own eyes. I could have saved the ones that pressed X and wanted to go home." Gi-hun says to In-ho, "Then why didn't you when everyone else wanted to go home with their families?" "Because I was filled with misanthropy, sadism, and barrenness towards humanity. I dressed up as a player to break Gi-hun, to make him suffer. But when I met Jun-hee and saw her baby, and she was about to give up her own life, a part of me had to do the right thing. Jun-hee, I'm sorry for everything. I could have saved others, but I was angry at the greed and selfishness." After In-ho tells him this, the VIP says, "Well, that was quite a speech. But we ain't leaving without our money. Oh, and the game that we're playing is kill all the players one by one." The VIP grabs a gun and points at Gi-hun's head. Then a few pink guards walk in. "Oh look, more guests have arrived to watch. And now that they're here, we'll kill Gi-hun, the frontman, player 125, Jun-hee, and her baby. Do you have any last words, son Gi-hun?" Gi-hun looks at Jun-hee, the baby, and Mitsu. He turns his head to look at In-ho. Then he looks at the VIPs and says, "We are not horses. We are humans, and humans are stronger." The VIP says, "That's it? Oh well, time to say goodbye." Gi-hun closes his eyes, ready for his fate to happen. That is until one of the pink guards shoots the VIP's hand. The VIP screams out in pain. They all turn around as the pink guard yells out to the players, "Get down!" The players get down. Gi-hun covers Jun-hee and her baby. In-ho gets down too. The VIP woman starts to run. Then the pink guards all start shooting at the VIPs, killing them dead. They even shoot the masked officer. When they're done shooting, Gi-hun looks up as all the pink guards take off their masks, revealing the resistance. Jun-ho, Kim, Woo-suk, No-yu, Kyung-shuk, and the rest of the men. Gi-hun says, "You came." Jun-ho says, "We're here now." Then Jun-ho walks towards his brother, telling him to put his hands up. In-ho slowly puts his hands up with a straight face. The resistance check on Mitsu. Gi-hun checks on Jun-hee and her baby. They're both fine. Then the VIP with the long hair starts to crawl. His legs are shot. He can't even feel his legs. Kim takes off the VIP's mask. Then Jun-ho speaks English and says to the VIP, "It's over." The VIP begs and pleads at Jun-ho. "No, please! They were the ones who were trying to kill them. It wasn't my idea." "You murder innocent people, killing and betting on them for sports." "Please, don't kill me! I have sports to live for! Just turn me in!" "You don't deserve to live." "No!" Jun-ho shoots the VIP in the head, killing him dead. The masked officer is shot and on the ground. Then he looks up at No-yu. He says to her, "You're a traitor." No-yu points a gun at the officer and says, "I know," and kills him. Gi-hun grabs a gun and points it at In-ho. He says, "It's over. The games, the island, it's all over." "You got what you want, Gi-hun. How do you feel?" Gi-hun says he doesn't feel anything. He wants to kill In-ho for killing his friends and the players that press X who want to go home. Gi-hun wants to kill In-ho so bad. In-ho says to Gi-hun he deserves to die for everything he's done. Jun-hee slaps at In-ho. She yells, saying, "You could have saved Hanju, Gyeomja, and Young-sik. They would have been still alive." In-ho apologizes to Jun-hee. Now that he's caught and his brother had found him again, the games will be put to an end. Gi-hun is confused. "Brother? What do you mean, brother?" Then he looks at Jun-ho and says, "Is he your brother?" "Stepbrother." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you want to go after him for what he did to you. But I didn't want to let you know. In-ho saved my life by donating his kidney to me." He tells Gi-hun he can't kill him. He wants to bring In-ho back home. Gi-hun yells, saying he doesn't care. "Your stepbrother killed a lot of people. The only good thing he did was saving Jun-hee for her baby. But it's not enough to save everyone, and he deserves to die for all of it." As Gi-hun is about to kill In-ho with the gun, Jun-ho stops Gi-hun and says if he kills him now, he won't get all the information from his brother about the games and the island. He may have did bad things, but he knew there was faith in him. "Please, don't kill him." Gi-hun looks at In-ho as he lowers the gun down. Woo-suk pulls out his phone and presses the record button. In-ho tells them everything. His wife's illness, his unborn child, the island, the games, the VIP's bettings, and why he became the frontman. After that, Woo-suk gets all the information. Gi-hun, Jun-hee, the baby, Mitsu, Jun-ho, Kim, Woo-suk, No-yu, Kyung-shuk, In-ho, and the resistance all head to the stairs. But they're stopped by 3 pink guards pointing guns. A square pink guard points a gun. This is the same square pink guard that pointed a gun at Jun-hee and her baby. He says he doesn't care what the frontman says to him about pulling a gun at player 222 and the baby. "You're all going to die." Then In-ho walks in front of square pink guard and says, "No, they're not." Before the square pink guard could say something, In-ho shoots all the square pink guards in the head. I warned him not to pull a gun at Jun-hee and her baby ever again. Then In-ho hears something. He yells out, "Get down!" Everyone gets down as all the pink guards start shooting. Then a fight breaks out. But this time, Gi-hun, In-ho, and No-yo fight back. Jun-hee fights the VIP woman. The VIP woman says she blames Jun-hee and her baby for all of this, and she's not leaving until everyone is dead. Jun-hee gains the upper hand and beats the VIP woman. She grabs the gun and says, "Fuck you," to the VIP woman and kills her. She even spits at her face. The resistance win against the pink guards. They all head outside as they wait for the Coast Guard boat. In-ho says to Jun-ho, the only way for the games to truly end is to blow up the island and to give the evidence to the police. Jun-ho thinks about it and tells In-ho to hurry up and to come straight back. In-ho runs back inside to the control room and turns on the bomb. All the pink guards begin to flee and head to the ship, but their ship is not working. Jun-ho waits for his brother, but he hasn't came back. He has no choice but to get on the Coast Guard boat. Gi-hun and everyone else, including the resistance, all get on the boat. Jun-ho tells the captain of the Coast Guard to turn the boat around and the island is about to blow. The boat gets further and further away from the island. As the timer reaches 0, the island blows up. All the pink guards die. Gi-hun, Jun-ho, and No-yo watch the island getting blown up. Jun-ho thinks his brother is dead. Gi-hun is relieved that the Squid Game is finally over. The boat heads back to South Korea. Jun-ho gives the evidence to the police. Everything goes back to normal. 6 months has passed. The scene of Gyeong-shok and his daughter stays the same. No-yo says to Gyeong-shok to take care of his daughter. Gyeong-shok nods and thanks No-yo for everything. No-yo goes to China to reunite with her daughter. Mitsu uses his share of his money to buy a house. He'll remember Simu as the only friend he used to have. Jun-ho enters his apartment. He sees a note on the table. He picks up the note and reads it. It's a letter from In-ho. After reading the note, Jun-ho smiles. We go to Gi-hun as he uses his money to buy a new home. Jun-hee and her baby are living in Gi-hun's new home. Jun-hee's ankle is healed. Gi-hun is looking nice and clean. And Jun-hee's baby has a name. Her name is Jang Ma-hee, named after two good mothers, Gi-hun's mom and Gyamja. Jun-hee and Ma-hee are part of Gi-hun's family, and it was okay for Jun-hee to call Gi-hun Dad. Gi-hun asks Jun-hee if she's ready. Jun-hee says yes. They pack up their stuff and head to the subway. Gi-hun, Jun-hee, and Ma-hee are going to Los Angeles to visit Gi-hun and her family. Gi-hun gets a call that Chol is reunited with his mom. Gi-hun says he's proud and thanks them. As the three are walking up the subway, Jun-hee stops. She sees Gi-hun is looking at something. They both see a man wearing a nice suit and holding a briefcase, talking to a pregnant woman. The man opens his briefcase, revealing a sack of cash and dachi. Gi-hun and Jun-hee are shocked. This is no ordinary man. That is a recruiter. Jun-hee says to Gi-hun, "What should we do?" Gi-hun says he doesn't know, but it's up to the woman's decision. As they both watch to see what happens, the pregnant woman looks at the cash and dachi and looks at the recruiter. Then the pregnant woman says to the recruiter, "No, keep your cash and dachi, because I'm going to make money on my own and raise my child on my own. Leave me alone and don't follow me." The pregnant woman walks off. The recruiter says nothing as he grabs his stuff and leaves. Gi-hun and Jun-hee both smile. The woman made the right decision. After that, they head to the airport and fly to Los Angeles. They arrive at the house. As Gi-hun knocks on the door, Gi-hun opens the door in shock and surprise to see her father. Behind him is Jun-hee and Ma-hee. Hello, Gi-hun, Gi-hun says. The two look at each other. In their brief moment, they both hug, tears falling down both their eyes. Gi-hun introduces Jun-hee and Ma-hee to Gi-hun. Gi-hun says Jun-hee is Gi-hun's step-older sister, and Ma-hee is her niece. After introducing with each other, the three come inside. They all have a good time with each other. Gi-hun apologizes to Gi-hun's stepdad for punching him in the face, and he apologizes to his ex-wife for the argument they have. They both accept Gi-hun's apology. Jun-hee lets Gi-hun and her brother hold Ma-hee. All of them are having a good time. That is until they hear a knock on the door. Gi-hun says he'll go get it. When he opens the door, Gi-hun is shocked to see Hwan In-ho in front of him, not wearing the Frontman uniform. He's wearing a nice suit. Hello, Gi-hun, In-ho says. Gi-hun looks back to see his family still having a good time, not knowing what's going on. Gi-hun closes the door and grabs a gun from his coat. He says to In-ho, "I thought you were dead. How are you alive?" In-ho explains he waited for his brother to get on the Coast Guard boat far away from the island. He found a spare boat. He got on the boat and escaped the island. All the paint guards didn't survive. In-ho is here to tell Gi-hun something. Gi-hun says, "What is it?" In-ho says to Gi-hun he is done being the frontman. Ever since he saved Jun-hee at the jump rope game, In-ho has changed to become a good man. In-ho says he came by to know how our Jun-hee and her baby are. Gi-hun says to In-ho they're both fine and okay, but you're not going to see them because Jun-hee will be afraid. In-ho says he understands, and he's proud that they're both fine. He says to Gi-hun that he's going back to Korea to turn himself in for all the murders he's done. For my version of Squid Game, there will be no games around the whole world, and the VIPs from the first season were arrested from the FBI. In-ho called the FBI and got the VIPs arrested. So the Squid Game island is just the only island and games. He tells Gi-hun to take care of Jun-hee and her baby. As In-ho walks to his car, Gi-hun says, "Wait." In-ho looks at Gi-hun. Gi-hun thanks In-ho for saving Jun-hee, helping take down the island, and having the heart to become a good man. In-ho says to Gi-hun, "I should be the one thanking you, not only for putting the games to an end, but for letting In-ho make the right choices." After In-ho tells Gi-hun this, Gi-hun tells In-ho one last thing, to never come back here ever again. In-ho nods at Gi-hun and says, "Take care, Gi-hun." He gets in his car and drives off. Gi-hun comes back inside. Later that night, Gi-hun gives Gi-hun her present. She opens her present and sees she has earned 45.6 billion won for her and her family. Gi-hun thanks her father as they both hug. Gi-hun is finally happy. He made things right for Gi-hun and finally became a good father. This is Skycher, and I'll see you guys next time.